20 minutes, Nigeria will turn 61 as an independent sovereign country. Between 1960 and now, a lot of water has passed under the Nigerian bridge, and the people have experienced the good, the bad, and the unfulfilled of a great and original vision in sports. There is also now the real possibility of one or two things happening. Either the fall or the rise of one of the great black countries in the world. On the Sports Parliament tonight, the gurus of different aspects of Nigerian sports shall be doing justice to Nigeria at 61, the past, the present, and the future of sports in Nigeria. I am Segun Odegbami, Speaker of the Sports Parliament, coming to you live from Lagos, from the studios of Africa's largest television network, NTA. It is going to be a full house tonight. Well, bearing any unforeseen, technical hitches or whatever. The weather is inclement in certain parts of the country, we hear. But we are expecting to have on the show the maverick Onome Obrute, who will be coming in from somewhere in the Delta area. The Tiger, Wahid Ekun from Ibadan. Wahid, are you there?
I'm very much, sir. Thank you very much.
We also have Bega Okegberu, one of the veterans of the media on the show, but he's not with us here yet. Kweku Tando, the doctor in the house, will be joining us very soon. Godwin Dudu Orume has been struggling to connect because it's been raining cats and dogs in Benin. Is Dudu there? He's not there yet. Okay, Dr. Kweku is with us already. Fantastic. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. The doctor in the house.
Thank you very much.
And of course, Beauty and Brain, Adenike Keenan. She's been here all day, looking as glamorous as ever. How are you, Adenike?
Very delighted to be on the set as always, Mr. Speaker. I know Nigeria tonight is being thick, and I'm looking for this.
We are particularly to have back the pastor in the house also, the marketing guru, Tunji Adeyinka.
Fine, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good to be back. Happy to see you, parliamentarians. I'm looking forward to a good show this evening.
Fantastic. And all the way from either Abuja or Jos, either of the two. Our friend, Holy Night, Abdurrahman Ibn Mohammed.
And it's a pleasure to be on set.
And you're looking like a top executive this evening. I like that. And from Miami, Florida, a very special guest on the show, Dr. Sadiq Abdullahi. I call him Champ, the champion, but he's the professor in the house. Sadiq Abdullahi, how are you tonight?
Good evening, I'm fine. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for seeing the parliamentarians again and special guests.
Fantastic. And we have the chronicler, the foremost chronicler of Nigerian football history in the house, one of the most hardworking journalists that I know, Kule Sholaja. Kule, how are you?
Mr. Speaker, I'm glad to be here again.
And of course, another chronicler in his own way, calling the aficionado himself, Omodudu, I call him. Godwin Dudu Orume is with us now, all the way from Benin. Godwin, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks, Mr. Speaker, and good to meet up with all of you again. Yeah.
Fantastic. So, well, we are going to have a terrific show tonight. Join us after the break.
It's the dawn of a new era on NTA's flagship program, The Sports Parliament. Revitalized with loads of varieties, including feedback responses from viewers. Sports Parliament, the weekly sports show that examines all the intrigues in the Nigerian sports sector and projects an agenda on the way forward for Nigerian sports. On NTA every Thursday at 10:30 p.m., running for 1 whole hour, discussing sports. The parliamentarians are more committed than ever to enlighten the viewers as the Sports Parliament takes it to a whole new level on the floor of the House. Keep a date with the Sports Parliament as motions are moved every Thursday on the floor of the House. Mr. Speaker, with his gavel to harmonize sports resolutions. The Highs have it.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, you haven't missed anything yet. This is the Sports Parliament coming to you from our studios here in Lagos. Well, we are going to start this way. Custodians of the story of Nigeria, those who can be held responsible for putting everything together and making Nigeria know what is happening in sports. The media. We are going to start x-raying the performance of the media in the past 61 years. I know every aspect of sports we are going to talk about tonight will be difficult, very challenging to capture in a few minutes. But these people are going to do justice to it as best as they can. That's why we are going to the veteran himself in Abuja or Jos. I don't remember where I said he, but either of the two places will be good enough. Abdurrahman Ibn Mohammed. He is one of the most versatile, most knowledgeable journalists that I know around. He has the history of Nigerian sports in his hands. So, over to you. What are your thoughts on the Nigerian media and their performance in the past 61 years? There was a time when the media were totally separate from sports administration, from the athletes and so on and so forth. They were doing their job on the side. But right now we have the media that has become an integral part of administration. They are with the administrators, they are with the athletes, they travel together, they are sponsored and so on and so forth. But anyway, I leave that to you. Abdurrahman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. And I would like to start by wishing all Nigerians a very happy 61st independence anniversary. Having said that, like you have stated, the media has been a part of the development in Nigerian sports. Nothing happens to Nigeria, nothing Nigeria achieves, whether within or not, in any part of the world, that the media does not have a hand in bringing that information to the generality of Nigerians. If we look at history, the very first major success that Nigeria achieved in the Olympics, for instance, Nigeria winning its first ever the boxing event in the Olympics. It was the media that brought it. And of course, prior to them, the exploits of the likes of Dick Ihetu Tiger and Co were brought to Nigerians by the media. But as Nigeria progressed, became older by the day, so the versatility of the media improved. At that point in time, of course, the electronics were not very strong, so most Nigerians depended on the print word and sometimes on the radio for rebroadcast. But as time went on, television came in, and that is my specialty. Television came in, and the media through the television has brought practically every big achievement Nigeria has been able to make to the Nigerian living rooms, whether it is in the Olympics, the World Cup, the World Athletics, and whatever. And like you rightly stated, the media may have graduated from just mere reportage. They have not infused themselves into the bodies of the sports associations. They have become a sort of big worry for sports administrators, because when they are there, the sports administrators are really forced to stand up and do what is right, even though we still are having problems. So in a nutshell, I would say that the media has been everywhere that Nigeria has done, and it is a continuation. But I would say that as far as television, like I said, specialty is concerned, the days when we had only one super television station in Nigeria, the NBA having the monopoly, are over. And in terms of getting sports rights, because Nigerians have been spoiled by the fact that in those days, NTA with government backing used to bring no matter college, the World Boxing matches, wrestling matches featuring the likes of Power, Muhammad Ali and Co. Nigerians were used to sitting down and waiting for the NTA to bring it. But as time progressed, there was liberalization of the media industry. Many more TV stations came, and those guys became harder and harder to get. And as we speak today, getting right is a very, very big issue for Nigerian media, because while the economy is low, our power of purchase is low, the marketing is not doing as it should be, and I'm glad Pastor Tunde is here. It is very, very difficult for media organizations to get right that Nigerians think is their birthright to get. So as we go on, this is one of the challenges that we do believe the entire spectrum of mentality will help, because Nigerians will not take no for an answer. They need to see what's happening, especially when our teams are involved. And the world is a global village now. There is no excuse for us not being able to do that. We just need to get our acts right. Thank you.
Fantastic. So on a scale, I wasn't going to ask you a question, but I'll leave it. Let's just go to the next item, which is administration and sports medicine. I'm combining them because Kweku Tando is going to come in here now. He has his choice to either look at the development of sports medicine over the past 61 years, or look at administration because he's an expert in both fields, and just tell us his own thoughts as to how far we have come in either or both of these sectors. Dr. Kweku Tando.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I think I will speak on sports medicine because we have quite a number of seasoned administrators in the house who can handle that as well. So looking at sports medicine over the last 61 years in Nigeria, I would say definitely without a shadow of doubt that the influence and the impact of sports medicine in Nigerian sports is not yet reached the level it should have. First of all, we did not start early. In those days, the only thing that sports medicine was used for was to treat injuries of players. But we know that sports medicine has gone beyond that. Sports medicine as a discipline itself, it involves psychology, nutrition, sports kinetics, sports science, and so on and so forth. And in Nigeria, we have not actually begun to apply sports medicine as a tool for talent identification, for talent development and all that, just like it's been done in other years. So I would say we have not really hit the road running with sports medicine. In the last few years, the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports set up the Sports Medicine Center in Abuja. We have quite a number of well-trained personnel in sports medicine over the years. So we have people like Dr. Amaru, have people like Dr. Professor Onobo Ali, Dr. Mwazu, and a few others. But the impact of sports medicine has not yet been felt, especially in the area of talent identification and talent development. And that's one area we need to begin to apply medicine, even in our training methods, even in our development and scouting methods. And that's one area I think we need to begin to work on. Apart from the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports and possibly the Lagos State Sports Commission that also has a fully fledged sports medicine department, I don't see sports medicine anywhere else in the country. But we really need, if we want to take our sports forward in terms of the performance of our athlete performance, then we need to really begin to take sports medicine more seriously and apply its benefits in developing our athletes.
Fantastic. Wow, couldn't have been better put. So I can see us not failing or passing in sports medicine, because we have done well. I have been a recipient of, what you guys have done, what you people in sports medicine have done. And you are quite right. Now we go to one of the most difficult areas, one that has actually affected, in the opinion of most people, sports development in Nigeria. How we have not been able to deal with marketing and corporate partnerships. Marketing and corporate partnerships. But it was not always so. At the very beginning, we had certain things in place. Down the line, we became sophisticated, and then suddenly we lost everything. I don't know where we are now. So let's go to the man who would know, the guru himself. I call him Pastor Tunji Adeyinka. Tunji, over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I think if you look at our sports from a marketing point of view, If we first start from a global point of view and look at the share that sport takes in global marketing, typically a lot of the sponsorship that we have or we get in Nigeria really should be sports, and indeed we have a larger percentage of the share of spend when you're looking at marketing in that and it comes on two sides or in two forms. One is in form of CSR, and the other one is in form of typical marketing focused investments. Over the years, if you've looked at it typically, and you've made a very good point, in the CSR area, we've had a lot of companies in the world who are from the extractive industry, the likes of Shell, the likes of Mobil, who have put in a lot of consistent spend in the area of CSR. I'm sure you remember the Mobil Track and Field
Championship,
and you also remember the Shell Cup and the rest of them. But a lot of this have been pulled back in the last few years. Even though we still have Mobil investing in basketball in Abuja, within what they call Power Forward, in partnership with the FBA. So, but the oil and extractive industry has kind of reduced spend, and that again is in line with what you find generally in the industry. So football has the largest follower in Nigeria. That is very clear. Football is number one by way of followership, and basketball is number two. But what you find again is that football tends to command, as commanded over the years, the largest spend from partners. But the good thing about this is that the ones that have really achieved a lot are companies that have been consistent. Because if you're not consistent in your investments, then you find that people tend to forget very quickly. The likes of Coca-Cola are companies that you can mention who have been extremely consistent, whether you're looking at the youth side where you have the academicals, or you've been even the senior side, the FA Cup, the league, the national teams, and so on and so forth. So the investment from companies like that have been very, very consistent over the years. Now, if you look at the leagues, we struggled with time. And I'll look at football. I'm sure you remember in the years past, companies like Cadbury sponsoring our league. But the league has really suffered in terms of sponsorship or marketing. That is not really too far-fetched, because if you look at the clubs, for example, the clubs in the 70s and the 80s, by way of their brand equity, are stronger than what we have today. And some people still remember the IICCs, the Rangers, and the rest of them. There were strong brands in those days. But the brand equity these days for those clubs are not strong. The equity is not so strong for the clubs, and you can then understand why the league itself is and that is very, very important again, because again you find that these clubs are not tending towards young people who are a large portion of our population. So the national team has been a key driver in terms of sponsorship. So you find a lot of deals being signed for national team sponsorships. And broadcast is also a very high ticket item that we've had over the years. As Abdulrahman said at the beginning, when sports rights were not liberalized and they were typically them could actually get those rights, but now that those rights are commercial, it's difficult, so they have to rely on partnership with private companies to be able to get those rights. The of events, platforms like National Sports Festival have suffered greatly because successive administrations have found it difficult to really focus on and define what it is and make it attractive for sponsors. As sports has also suffered. But in school sports, I will point out a brand like Nestle Milo, for example, very consistent in school sports over the years, and that is why recall is very high. So I've mentioned Coca-Cola, I've mentioned Nestle. These are two star brands in different areas. that have really projected on very well. Outside football, our sport has really not done very well in the area of marketing. In football, it's just a few properties. Female football is not doing well, and also school sports is not doing well. But then in other sports, athletics is not doing well. Of course, except the marathon, which has become like a commercial property. The Lagos Marathon and the rest of them, where you've done a lot of good work over the years. Now, high-value properties like golf, polo, that care for the affluent market, those are successful because they deal with a specific target audience, and therefore they're affluent and they're able to spend on that. So, in summary, Mr. Speaker, I would say that we are still at the starting block for sports. Some of the successes that we've had in the past have been reversed, but I keep saying that we have an opportunity to restart again, and we're beginning to see those signs as we go forward. So thank you very much.
Fantastic summary. I'm taking away a lot from just listening to you over the past few minutes. Well, one of the most successful sectors in our sports up to date in our history is women in sports. Women in sports. The women have done exceedingly well. But needless to go into it myself, let us go to Beauty and Brain, Adenike Keenan, to lead us into that aspect of our sports. Women in sports, Adenike.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. It is so very delightful to talk about women in sports in Nigeria since independence. A lot of words will be. Some say that it's been a story of times, like history library in 1950, that even the Nigerian Daily Times said that they would boycott all sporting activities should there be female football. And it is ironic that even as the years were going by, the majority of the success of the sporting activity was from the merit that was gotten predominantly from women. And it is a shame, I dare say, that the Nigerian women, sporting in women's sports, have been neglected a great deal, especially as regards the welfare of women. We've seen the Super Falcons do fantastic and recording a success that is almost unprecedented in African history. The world see Nigeria as the biggest, first to reckon with when it comes to football. But sadly, what have these women got to do? Got to show for it? They have not been taken care of. If you say, for instance, we talk about contemporary Nigeria and what is happening lately, you see what Azeezat Oshoala, a young lady who perhaps in her life never imagined that she would make so much success. At some point, she was the highest recording and paying athlete in Africa. That is frustrating. But it is sad that most of the young people, because if you look at sports and what the benefits it portends, how well has it benefited, how well does it actually encourage the younger ones as they grow up in life? It's a trajectory that could bring a lot to many who've done well. But because that we don't have anything to show for it, many a times the first goal ever, Olympic gold, came from women. What have these women done for it? What are the factors? How well do they prepare for women? You go to the sport and you get to see women participating in sports, being in very awkward situations they are not taking care of. Still their own determination that makes them push forward and prepare them, makes them still want to participate. Yet they still don't see equality. That there was a time of it came publicly to demand equal remuneration as the male counterparts. They given and were they attention? No. At that point, a lot of people laugh at her. A lot of people, even women, because sometimes we are so brainwashed that we get to see that it's not just expected. I hope, we pray, and wish that things will take a different to do things right. We like them, we encourage our women to participate in sports because it is not just going to affect, it is not going to just bless the women, it's going to affect the majority of the Nigerian, the young women that look up to this icon in sports, which to Chioma Adekunle, one of our athletes, and it felt, I remember that it felt heartwarming, it was heartbreaking that it took that long we never have candidates who come into power and then do this for this woman. A lot of those people will come down the drain. We've seen success recorded from athletics to football, so very different.
Okay, well, we have challenges with your Wi-Fi.
Women is not appreciated. Women in sports are not appreciated.
Fantastic. Thank you, Adenike. Thank you. Well, you have summed it up. Women are not appreciated enough. They are not taken care of enough. And we cannot say enough of that because they have been the most successful between the male and women in Nigeria in sports. But we'll go further now because one of the most successful sports in our history is table tennis. We have been consistent through the years from independence up till now. But we plateaued at a certain level. We haven't been able to lift ourselves up beyond a certain level. Let us hear from Waheed Ekun. Waheed.
Thank you very much. When we talk of table tennis and performance and winning rights, table tennis has actually done well. Taking history from 1960, table tennis was dominated by the Egyptians and Ghanaians then. In the times of Bala Els of Egypt and Emmanuel Kwe of Ghana, they dominated us. But then, we kept fighting and fighting well. In the times of Bala, these were the pioneers of table tennis in Nigeria. They tried their possible best, but they could not succumb the powers of Egypt and the Ghana. But later on, Bambade, Santos, Wilson, Akron, they came on board. They gave a good fight before the times of Al-Sisi, Ayesho and Co. They came on board, and then after Ebo, Mario came. But the best times we had in table tennis were the time of Atabarusa when he came on board and he won so many levels. But I remember that he won the main singles of All African Games, All African Table Tennis Championships in 1976 through Kasari Dasisi, and since then we have not been letting our efforts in the African Championship. And later Atalamusa came to the Commonwealth, which was the first time an African and a Nigerian will win the Commonwealth Singles Table Tennis Championships. They tried before the Tourists also came and won the Commonwealth Table Tennis Championships, and then now we have the Aruna Cody. We have been doing fantastically well, but then table tennis hasn't got enough government sponsorship. We've not added anything in terms of government sponsorship, government support in table tennis, but the performance we are having is due to individual efforts of all these players. I give kudos to all the players then, and I give kudos to women in sports, particularly the days of Jazz 1973, and so forth, and the times of Oshonaiki too, in terms of Yabla Kamu, Pesa Kafu, they all possible best to make sure Nigeria is in the forefront of table tennis. But what have they got to show for it? This is the problem. This is what is happening in table tennis. They are not encouraged enough, but because the people who play table tennis have no choice, they put in commitment, they put in all the best they come on and they achieve. But the government needs to do something else for them. And then all of a sudden we have lost sponsorship. There's no sponsorship again. In the old days then, we had a lot of sponsors. We had the Coca-Cola, we had everybody. We had all over the places. But in these days, in recent times, there's nothing to show for it. So this is what is happening in table tennis, and we want to solicit for more sponsorship and then the government support to actually encourage all players to just tell them.
Thank you, Waheed. Thank you. That was brilliant. I know table tennis for so long. There was the time when I was sending our young ones to China to go and train for 6 to 9 months. And by the time they come back, we start to dominate everything in table tennis, at least in Africa and in the Commonwealth. We're going on a short break. When we come back, of course, who has been waiting? The aficionado has been waiting. and the rest of them. So let's go on this short break. When we come back, we'll go to Benin to speak with Godwin Dudu.
Here's the start. Archbishop of basketball, go! He hung around like a star of a train. NTA Sports 24 brings you all sports, all time and all. Tune in to watch NTA Sports 24. Start on channel 270, Sat on channel 434, and TV on channel 731. NTA Sports 24, where sports thrive.
Welcome to the Sports Parliament, where conversations take sports to a higher level. And we have waiting for us in Benin, aficionado Godwin Dudu Orume. Godwin, the whole of sports development in Nigeria at independence was anchored to school sports. The whole of sports was anchored to school sports. Where are we today? Tell us about that journey since 1960 to now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. The role of school sports is very fundamental. And apparently, as years went past, we then started thinking that it was something that we could do, sadly. And the school sport, let's begin with the Sports Cup, which had a slightly theme. And then I think the principal of Baptist Academy put together. That was where it all started from. In the old West region, we had an event, it was called the World Sunday Cup. And in all of that, the presence, should I say, the existence of the boarding house system was critical. The games master used the boarding house discipline to get the people to football team, the volleyball team, the track and field team, and every sport possible to get prepared for zonal competitions, which went on to state level, and then became national events, football. From the principal club in many other states to the equivalent in the whole Midwest, it was called the Giwa Sami Cup. We saw the conveyor belt for the development of sports for Nigeria being school sports. And then, of course, great sports assets like the Horsey Shield, the Lady Manuel Cup, the Israel Adebayo Cup, the Academic Girls Cup, which was on state representational basis. Those were the athletes and properties that produced great players. Mr. Speaker, your teammate Thompson was here. He probably did school sets in 1975. Played for the Girls, played for the Midwest, and played for the Eagles. That doesn't happen anymore. You don't find that transition. You look at another teammate of yours, Dr. Patrick Kekeji, who later became director of DG, Minister of Youth and Sport. Kekeji, together with Christian Chukwu, Kenneth Lodibe, they played for the 1971 East Central State Academic House, and they played for the Eagles, and were great sprinters who were in school. In those days, Horsey College would be the host of Evening Rubo, doing first leg for Nigeria in relay and I think Prince was also having meetings on the old Romanians, Abayadeko, Mike Shobande, they were all, they were in Hornsey College, they were playing for schools, they were playing for national team from school. I think some parliamentarian of our Western program, Dr. Sadiq, who I prefer to call a professor, is also a product of the school system. Now, all of that seems to have gone into our being, and the sports platform, the sports festival has taken another shape. They're not calling it's a free run for everybody. And so, states have abandoned the development of sports and busy hiring program athletes. And you find Chukuma representing Toronto State. You find Koyole representing Rivers State. It's not working because after World Sports Festival, they go back to their state of origin and you're able to monitor these people. So for me, I think that we should revisit the sports properties generated and driven by the school system. And it would be great to go back to all of the thinking and we will see products. I mean, young men and young women representing Nigeria from school or straight from school. That's the direction I would advise that we go on this point, especially 61 years after, the latter part of which has not been very exciting in sports.
Fantastic. Well, let's just connect you with Kunle Sholaja now, our great chronicler, to just take us through for the next 3 or so minutes. What you think about football in particular? Football in particular. Help us look at football in particular now. Domestic football.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Football in Nigeria is such a very complex topic to discuss under 3-4 minutes. But I will try as much as possible to see what I can do. At the beginning, our football was very attractive because we have lesser competitions and we hardly have the players abroad. But going towards the 70s and the early 80s, we really picked up well. That was when we have stars. As a matter of fact, that was the era I would call the golden era of domestic football in Nigeria. That is the era of Shegun Odera, Christian Chukwusamu, Jebode, Thompson Lucier, and all those players there. These are fully homegrown stars. Not the present era where we depend on players abroad and we have left domestic football with a left of stars. We now have clubs that are no longer brands as they were. I remember when Tita Linka was talking about our clubs, big brands, talk of Shooting Stars, talk of Rangers, talk of Golden Insurance. These were particularly almost club there because they have stars and they have a name that you can follow. But more so now because of what the domestic football has turned to be. And you cannot say this is how it started, or we just discover that we have found ourselves in a situation that is very, very complementary, given the fact that this is a country of many cultures, many ethnic groups. We have everything at our advantage, but we have really failed as a nation to put all these things together and have clubs that will be brands in Africa. Now we have clubs abroad that Nigerians are following because the domestic clubs are put ahead. Then we look at women football. When we started in 1991, we took off like a supersonic jet. But right now we are moving like a locomotive diesel. Now, in those days, in the early 90s, you see our women football. They are women football team winning matches. I remember the Super Falcons were as high as 27 matches unbeaten before they lost their first match in Warri in 2002. Now, the same team has been able to dominate Africa, winning trophies upon trophies,
But we all know that the reality is that the other countries are catching up. Don't know at those days when we meet a team from Africa and we beat them 7-0, 8-0. Now we struggle to even win matches. Just about 2 weeks ago, our own Falcons of Africa were beaten on their home soil, conceding the highest number of goals that they've ever conceded at home. So, going through this is just that what we have in football in Nigeria is just a mixed bag. There's still opportunity of doing more.
Fantastic. Wow. You have done a great job, Kunle. Thank you so very much. From your place in Lagos, let's go to Miami, where Prof is waiting, Professor Sadiq Abdullahi, the champ, I call him, of tennis. Not table tennis, but tennis. It used to be called lawn tennis in those days. Champ, what is happening to tennis? In your days, before your days, there were great, legendary tennis players all over the place. Now we don't even know of one. So take us through the journey, Professor Sadiq.
Indeed. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yeah, indeed, I was a product of the school sports, and I'm happy that I went through that. Well, if you look at the 60s and the 70s, and the players that came in the 60s and the 70s, they set the pace, the tone for what happened in the 80s. Thompson Oliboko, Awopekba, Yemi Sierra, and others, right? And so they set the pace. They won a lot of African championships, but they did not move to the next level. So we, the next group in the 80s, called the Golden Players, Nduka Odizo, Tony Moore, David Emonite, myself, now took that baton and then went to the Olympics, All African Games, Grand Slams, and then, of course, played Davis Cup and almost qualified for the world group. So everything was working well. The leadership was very good. Adejumo also, late Adejumo also, kind of invested his own personal money and then used his contact around the world to get the programs going. Secondly, the clubs were accessible to all of us in the 70s and partially in the 80s, right? So the clubs are now dissipating. We're not seeing them do the functions of the 70s, right? And then, of course, now we are go back to the schools. There's no programs in the schools, for continuity, right? And then, of course, sponsorship. If you do not have a good, solid junior program, you don't have tennis in academies, you don't have leagues, and then you don't have tennis in schools, sponsors are not going to be attracted because we're not really going to the youth, to fill in the gap. So that is why in the 90s we only have two players. One that Sule Ladipo that took us to in 1996, that took us to the Olympics, and after that everything just went down. So that is the synopsis of the good and the bad and the good of Nigerian tennis. And
the unfulfilled. Well,
the unfulfilled.
Well, that's good.
No. Very quickly. The unfulfilled is what Dudu and the rest have talked about. It is our inability, right, to transcend our human and capital in order to now resolve some of the potentials that we have in our youth, right? We're not going to fulfill anything when we are not building anything, right? So the potential is there according to the speakers today, and I'm very, very positive, that yes, with the election that happened today, there might be a turning point, I hope. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, well, we have less than 5 minutes to go. How am I going to sum up everything now? We cannot divorce the state of sports from the state of the country. And if you check the general mood of the state of the country, it is as if we are on the precipice of something. But I will give everybody 20 seconds to take sports into the future? Will this be reflected in what we see in the Nigerian state today? I will go very, very quickly. We have Professor Shiwamotayo waiting, but don't worry, Prof. You are going to sign us out of today's program. So let me start from the start again. Let me start from the beginning. Abdulrahman Ibn Mohammed, you have 20 seconds.
Well, Mr. Speaker, the way I see it, let me take a cue from my brother, Professor Sadiq Abdullahi. Perhaps with the elections that took place today for some of the sporting federations, perhaps they would have read the lines. Perhaps those who have been elected must have seen the cries and the aspirations of people, and perhaps they are going to build on that, because there's no doubt about that. The potential is there. All we need to do is to harness it. Just like in the general country, once we have less resources and put ourselves together, nothing is impossible to the Nigeria.
Kokutando, is there hope? Is there hope?
Yes, I want to be optimistic and say that there is hope. But honestly, apart from one or two sports, I cannot really.
A bad signal from Kwiku. But let's go to Tunji Adeyinka. Tunji Adeyinka.
And some of it is because don't see. But let's go. Okay, Tunji, go ahead, please.
Yeah.
Any hope for us,
Mr. Speaker? Yeah, I think there is hope. It's just that we need to move away from expecting a magic. There's no magic. Nothing is going to happen magically. We need to package our sports like products that are attractive to the audience and that are attractive to sponsors and corporate partners. And we need to build a structure and a framework behind that. And we've seen examples of how it's been done, and it's been done well, even in Nigeria. So there's no structure, a product, and put a framework to it. I believe there's hope, Mr. Speaker.
If I was Minister of Sports of Nigeria, I would just get Tunji Adeyinka to help me start to shape to shape the business of sports in Nigeria. Adenike Keenan, the women, from the way you sounded, any hope?
Yes, sir.
20 seconds.
As much as we want to say that there is hope, I'd like to be realistic as well. We lose what we do not celebrate. And use die when there is actually nothing done. But I just, like a typical Nigerian, I'm saying that I'm praying and hoping that the right people are put in the right places and then the right things are done. Because it's high time we took things up a notch. I'm optimistic.
Thank you. Very good. Why Dakun?
Yes, I think there's hope, but that hope must be packaged. In some lesser sports, there's no hope at all because people are not looking at that except for football and some other sports. But I think I want to appeal to the corporate world, the corporate Nigeria, to look into sponsoring some of our sports.
Okay. Well, Dudu, you are executive chairman of the Edo State Sports Commission, and you are dealing in the business of sports now. Any hope?
Yes, there is hope, but we must talk about the basics. We have changed the narrative through school sports. And when we do that, we now have products. We can hand over to Tunji Adeyinka, who can then take it to the business place, the marketplace, and sell it. And together with new thinking that we hope will come through these federation elections today, we have a very new perspective that will take sports to another level.
Thank you. Kule Sholaja, domestic football for over 20 years now we've been struggling. What do you think? I laugh.
Well, there's hope if we can only assimilate new scientific method approach in doing things.
Let's find out what works out fine for others and why things are not working fine for our domestic football. The Premiership, which everybody is now following global, started just in 1992 when they decided to abandon the old league and establish the Premiership, putting marketing and everything involved, TV rights, that made the Premiership the most attractive domestic league in the world. If we can understand what happens in those other areas, I think we can replicate at least part of it here in Nigeria. That's my summary.
Fantastic. Professor Seun Omotayo is in Ghana. You have 10 seconds to wish Nigerians a happy independence anniversary so that they can see you and hear your voice. And another 10 seconds to tell us your own final thoughts. Is there hope? Oh, he's no longer there. He's no longer there, but he has something. We have a guest, an observer of tonight's show. I must just acknowledge him before we go. The observer is my friend Satish. He's there in South Africa. Just show us your face, Satish Seka, the British journalist. Let's see your face. Thank you for joining us.
You should be able to see me.
Yes, we can see you.
I have been listening into.
You have 10 seconds. 10 seconds to just wish us well.
Okay. Well, congratulations to Nigeria and its achievement, and I wish you a very, very happy next 61 years too.
Fantastic. Well, on that note, since Onome is not with us tonight to move a motion for adjournment, I will just do so myself, wishing all Nigerians a happy 61st anniversary, and to announce that next week, Thursday, we have a very special guest. Google his name, go search it out. His name is Dr. Richard Lapchick. Dr. Richard Lapchick. I met him in 1994. He set up something in the Northeastern University in Boston, Massachusetts, and that thing is reverberating all over the world. It's about sports and society, sports and global diplomacy, and so on and so forth. Everything beyond sport next week, Thursday. All those in favor of that motion, please say aye. Aye. All those against, say nay. Happy Independence Anniversary. The ayes have it.